All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to yet another episode on The Truth with Ben Jokes, your favorite political talk show. Now, the impact of the recent increase in the price of petrol is beginning to worsen. For instance, a loaf of bread that sold for 1,500 naira in Garki FCT 4 days ago sold for 1,650 naira today, just 3 days after the fuel increased. Give it 1 week, it will start hitting 1,750 to 1,800. And this is the situation with every single food item in the Nigerian market today. Peter Obi has described the recent hike in the price of petrol as unfortunate and insensitive, and rightly so. He said instead of dealing with the corruption in the oil sector, the government has decided to put the entire burden on the masses. But how can they fight a corruption that they are heavily involved in? They can't fight it. And just a few hours ago, 2 updates dropped and they became the talking points in the Nigerian political media space. These updates further show 1, the level of irresponsibility of the TINUBU administration. 2, it shows that the world has no regard, no single regard left for this country. And finally, it further exposes the danger that awaits Nigeria in the coming months. Before I show you these updates and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. You know, when we say the APC have come to kill, to steal, and to destroy, some still don't get it. Now, look at what is happening to Nigerians. People are running mad. I'm not talking about people are getting angry. People are actually going insane. Mental cases are becoming rampant as a result of the hardship caused by this evil regime. Watch this doctor and civil society analyst confirm this in this interview.
The situation is grave. The situation is grave, and that's why the statement had to be issued. At a time like this, people need to stand up. People need to talk. People need to cajole, beg, make demands on the government. Because what is at stake is not the people's convenience. It's the lives of the people. The ability of people to carry out meaningful existence with the grinding poverty in the land, multiplying every single day. Of course, we know what happened a few days ago. Again, the increase in the pump price of fuel. I bought 1,150 yesterday, and then today 1,030. That is at an NPC, but the private filling station 1,150. 10,000 naira, 7 liters. How far would it take you? And one of the most important thing you can talk about in this country today is energy. It drives the economy. And so when the price of energy gets to an unprecedented level, such as it has gotten to, what you're going to see is the chaos that you are seeing in terms of pricing, in terms of inflation, in terms of the negative effect, the cost of living, on the people. Food items essentially, 1, drugs, medicines, 2, and because you've got to keep the body alive, and before you even talk about the soul, and then of course transportation. All of these things have gotten to an negatively unprecedented level in this country. Nigerians have never seen this level of a difficulty, of hardship. And so it brings about, serious psychological issues. People will tell you years back, if you go to the psychiatric hospitals today, you see that you have increased cases of people with all manners of issues. A lot of them are
mental health issues.
Mental health issues, thank you. A lot of them are related to the very advanced conditions that they are going through today. Everybody has a threshold. So once you get to your threshold, if care is not taken, you move over to the other side. And so this is part of the reason why we feel duty bound. Why we feel it's an obligation to speak out. Hoping that those who are in a position to actually do something about it will begin to realize that we have gotten, like I said, to an unprecedented situation.
You heard that. Everyone has his limits. Not everybody can go a whole day without food and remain the same. Some will fall into depression. Others may go completely insane, and that is exactly what that analyst was explaining there. Many have lost their lives, but members of the political class are living in stupendous luxury. Check out this video. This video is particularly for those who are still gullible enough to believe that some traditional rulers represent them. So when they tell them to be patient with government, they will believe them. This is a gold statue of Remi TINUBU made by Ooni of Ife for her. At a time when Nigerians are dying of hunger, the Ooni of Ife, who should be speaking up for the people daily as a traditional ruler, is busy erecting statue for the oppressors. This tells you that he is one of them. And that is why I keep saying the people only have themselves. Only we can unite and get ourselves out of this quagmire. And let's look at how Nigerians reacted to that statue made by the Ooni of Ife for Remi TINUBU. This tweet by Orija Abimbola says, "This Ooni is a very irresponsible king and a letdown to the Yoruba race. Chai, guy has reduced the throne to an appendage of Bodilon. What a shame." And Ayotunde here says, "Color gold, not golden statue." Of course. And Ogbeni Abiodun here says, "What has she done to justify this? Who they advise these people?" Well, you may not know what she has done. She may have only brought pain to you, but heavy monies, heavy privileges, heavy bags have exchanged hands behind the scene. And that is why this traditional ruler is coming out to denigrate himself in this manner. And this tweet by OJ Oluwaseun says, "What has she done to deserve this? This is high profile psychophancy." That is it. She has done much for the Oni, even though she has not done anything for you. And that is why we are saying the common men have to prioritize themselves. And this tweet here by Adi Ashu says, "In the midst of poverty, Nigerians are slave to their masters." Chai. And El Bruzi here sarcastically says, "Wow, great achievement. Food cost will reduce in the market." Now, that is it. It doesn't affect anybody positively. They are just exchanging gifts amongst themselves because they loot the treasury together. And this is what I want people to understand. The political class, they are so united. And that is why it looks as if they are insurmountable. If the people can unite in a twinkle of an eye, these guys will be defeated. Point blank, period. Now, let us look at those updates that are now the major talking points in the Nigerian political space. The World Bank released a disgraceful, very, very disgraceful account of Nigeria. And at that same time, a disgraceful update came out of the presidency. And the entire outlook was and is still a total mess. Let's start with the update from the World Bank. Look at how the papers reported it. World Bank report says Nigeria facing worsening food crisis like Yemen, Ethiopia, calls for urgent intervention, reporters. The World Bank has stated that Nigeria is facing a worsening food security crisis with over 1 million additional people experiencing severe food insecurity in 2024 compared to the previous year. This was contained in the World Bank's Food Security Update report released recently, while highlighting that countries like Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Yemen have seen a significant rise in the number of people facing acute food shortages. Conversely, some countries saw improvements. Nations such as Afghanistan, Guatemala, and Kenya reported declines in food insecurity, with more than 1 million fewer people facing acute food crisis, although these countries remained in significant food crisis situation. On the other hand, 18 countries experienced worsening situations due to factors including intensified conflict and climate-related shocks such as droughts. Notable examples include Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Yemen, each witnessing an increase of more than 1 million people facing high levels of food insecurity from the previous year, the report read. According to the report, domestic food price inflation in Nigeria remains among the highest globally, with food prices increasing by 37.5% year on year as of August 2024. This price surge has strained household incomes, making it increasingly difficult for low-income families to afford basic food items. Meanwhile, the World Bank called for urgent intervention to address the immediate food needs of affected populations, while also focusing on long-term solutions to improve resilience against climate shocks. You heard that. Nigeria is being ranked with countries like Yemen and Ethiopia. From having a thriving economy under Jonathan, look at what the APC have reduced this country to. We are now a laughing stock amongst nations. The report says inflation in Nigeria is amongst the worst globally. That's why people are going insane. Then the World Bank ended the report by saying something urgent has to be done. World Bank is now the one telling us to save ourselves urgently. But in all this, people began to ask, where is TINUBU? That was the question people were asking. And just as they were yet asking, the update popped out of the presidency saying that while all this is going on, TINUBU is touring the world in his private jet, enjoying himself. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking: TINUBU heads for France from London. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has departed the United Kingdom for Paris, France, where he is expected to attend an important engagement. This was disclosed by his senior special assistant on political and other matters, Ibrahim Kabir Masari. Tweeting via his verified X handle, Kabir Ibra 64 Masari said he had the honor of visiting Tinubu at his private residence in the UK, where they engaged in productive discussions before he departed for Paris. Today, I had the honor of visiting Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu at his private residence in the United Kingdom, where we engaged in productive discussions. We then departed for Paris, France, for another important engagement, Masari said. However, details of the engagement were not made public. Tinubu departed Nigeria on Wednesday, October 2, for a 2-week working vacation in the UK as part of his annual leave. Recall that Special Assistant to Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement on October 2, announced Tinubu's departure for the 2-week vacation. The man is touring the world. From the UK, he has moved to France. Before you know it, they'll tell you he's going to Saudi Arabia, to Dubai, while the house is on fire. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Shola says, if he likes, let him travel all over the world. My own is that T-Pain should never return to Nigeria again. The only solution to Nigeria problem right now. And Edozie says, T-Pain gallivanting the globe when his house is on fire with people trapped inside. It is well. And Araba here says, his drugs finished in London and he had to move to Paris. This is where Buhari was better. Buhari's medications were all located in London. Chai. And Akonji Adeyemi here says, I built Lagos, but I go to United Kingdom for vacation and France for healthcare. Who am I? We all know who that is. And Olasunkomi here says, a gallon of groundnut oil is now 75,000 naira. That is just one of the items that have gone out of hand. Every single item in this country, prices have skyrocketed. And this man that caused all these problems is nowhere to be found. As a matter of fact, he knew that the NNPC was going to increase the price of petrol and that people would come for him directly. That was why he quickly abandoned the country. They had finished plans, concluded plans on the price increase. Then he ran away. Let them do it behind him. so that presidency can claim that they have no hand in it. But who is the fool that will believe them? And in other news, while Nigerians are enjoying their new nickname for Tinubu, T-Pain, meaning Tinubu pain, because of the pain that he has brought upon the people, the presidency, State House, has now come out to tell Nigerians that they should stop calling Tinubu T-Pain. You can imagine the kind of frivolities that these guys bother themselves with. This just tells you that nothing good will come out of this regime. We are talking about inflation, hyperinflation, widespread insecurity, very important issues. The State House is concerning itself with a mere nickname. And of course, you know that the moment you tell Nigerians to stop calling you a nickname, that is when it intensifies, especially a name that suits you completely. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. Ayomitunde here says, Boya State House, they craze. Since T-Pain dubiously ascended that seat, the only disaster that has not plagued Nigeria is volcano. This gaslighting will only lead to one thing. Thank God he has provided Nigeria with CNG to aid the movement. And Easy here says, as long as the people continue to feel the pain of misgovernance, the name will continue. That is it. And David Pine here says, this is one thing you can't stop. You get the sort of name you deserve, good or bad. Rather than trying to seek out ways of addressing Nigeria's problems, it is frivolous things such as these that bothers you. It tells you how useless these people are. And Eze Arinze here says, the worst way to reject a nickname is by telling people to stop calling you that name. That is when you trigger more momentum. This name has come to stay. Nigerians are going through the worst period of their lives. There is no doubt about that. And all the experts that have commented on the present situation are saying that things are bound to get worse. And we have been seeing all the words of these experts come to pass, so we can't even argue. Things are terrible as they are now, and they are even going to get worse. And then they call you ordinary T-Pain. You are complaining. Somebody that is supposed to be beaten, they're supposed to carry cane, come flog you, come up for there. We are even angry that Nigerians have not been able to unite enough to flog you out. You are complaining about an ordinary nickname that was given to you, a name that suits your character perfectly. Now, the World Bank is telling us the dangers ahead. They are telling us that 1 million more Nigerians have entered severe hunger, and they don't even count well. It's not only 1 million. It is not only 1 million. Several millions are at the risk of severe hunger. More famine is coming. They are saying all these things. Where are you? You were in Paris. You say you wanted to rest. Now you are flown to France. You are just gallivanting all over the world, enjoying yourself. And then you are rejecting the name T-Pain. That can never work. More nicknames will come. I am even happy that the State House is unhappy with that name, because you are not the only ones that can dish out unhappiness to people. Whatever ways Nigerians can go through to make you unhappy, we will continue to explore those ways before the final one will come up, the final revolution that will see you guys leave office. And that is why we will not stop encouraging Nigerians. We will keep talking and talking, and we will keep walking too, because we are not just talking. We get out there and we do our thing. And one day, you guys will pay for all these crimes that you are committing against the Nigerian people. It only takes unity. It's because Nigerians have not united. If not, how many people are you guys? All the people that have been destroying this country since independence, all of them are not reach 50,000. And this is a country of over 200 million people. You are coming out to complain about a mere nickname. Don't worry. That day will come and we will all see it, when Nigerians will wise up and rise against this evil political class. And when they do that, we will take our country back. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.